This is the Action Movie Guys podcast, bringing you action movie reviews from across the decades, plus box office numbers and insight like never before. And now, your hosts of the Action Movie Guys podcast, Alex and Nate.
Welcome, everyone, to a brand new episode of the Action Movie Guys podcast. This is episode 143. We're starting a brand new franchise. We're starting with the Bourne franchise. We're going to start off with Bourne Identity from 2002. I'm your host, Alex Figueroa, and that is
Nate from Netflix Reviews.
All right, Nate. So now this is a Robert Ludlum. I hope I said his name right. This is based off of his books, right?
Yeah.
It was Ludlum, right?
Ludlum.
Yeah.
Ludlum.
It's based off of his books. He created his character just like Jack Ryan and Tom Clancy characters. This is another one of those type of characters coming to life. So with that said, Nate, how long has it been since you've seen Bourne Identity?
Ooh, first of all, I didn't even realize this movie came out 20 years ago. That's pretty crazy. And secondly, it's been, you know what? It's been a long time. This is a franchise that I have not watched like over and over. I think I've seen each movie one time. I remember bits and stuff. But I don't know. Gosh, I saw this maybe in like 2007. It's got to be like 15 years since I watched this movie, honestly.
Yeah, for myself, I last year, I always watch the entire series. Every year, it's somewhere, somehow, I get the itch to watch the Bournes. It's just something about this. We're going to talk about it, which is my favorites. We're going to talk about the breakdowns here. But this franchise is just such a fun franchise, but we're going to start off with the first one and how it launched Matt Damon's career, pretty much, right? This is the one that catapulted, besides Good Will Hunting.
I mean,
right?
made him into the A-list. Yeah, but this made him into the A-list. You know, Good Will Hunting's a different kind of movie. This made him into like a bigger star. Yeah,
so again, guys, for those of you out there, we're going to give you guys the agenda for tonight. We're going to give you the Rotten Tomato scores, what the critics and audience have to say about this film. And then we're going to go right into the movie reviews here. We took away some box office numbers because we want to get right into the meat of the potatoes of these movie reviews for you guys. So with that said, Nate is going to take it over and give you guys what the critics and audience have to say about Bourne Identity from 2002. Nate?
Well, this had much better reviews than I thought it was going to have. I'm not that surprised that with the critic score, 84%. It's good. Very high. Now, I'm surprised at the audience score. Like, I knew this was a popular franchise, but goodness gracious, this one has a 93% audience score. So 84 and 93. Very, very well-liked movie.
Yeah, it was basically well-received. And I think this is the third or fourth film that we started a franchise that the scores were high to kick it off. And again, then we're going to find out if these actually, why were they so high in our movie reviews? So we're going to throw out those Rotten Tomato scores. And we're going to get right now into our review of the Bourne Identity. So we're going to take it over with Matt Damon as Jason Bourne.
All right. Now, this is funny because to my memory, again, I haven't rewatched all of these. I've seen each one once. To my memory, this was not my favorite. This is not my favorite one. So from what I remember, now rewatching it, Matt Damon, he's good in this. I like him. You know, he's a little skinny for some of the stuff that he's doing. There's some scenes in the middle where he's like shirtless or got like a little like wife beater or something. I'm like, man, he look kind of thin. I know he's never bulky, but I know he got a little bigger than this later. But anyway, besides that, he's good. He looks really young in this movie. It was weird to see. Of course, I watched it in 4K. It looked great. He looked really young. I was like, geez, he's a good character. I don't think he's, from now on, honestly, I'm saving my fives for when someone I feel is like an elite character. I don't think Jason Bourne is that because he has no background, right? The whole premise of the movie is that he doesn't remember who he is. And the whole movie he's trying to figure that out. So it's fun to go along on the ride with him. It's also hard to get like super attached to him because you don't know who he is either. You find everything out the way he finds everything out. Now on the action front, he's great. He does a great job in the fighting scenes. In the action scenes, I actually love the scene where I know it's not action, but I love the scene like when he's escaping at the embassy.
Yeah.
I know it's not him, but there's a few times where it looks like him, like he did some of his own stunts, I'm imagining here. So I thought Matt Damon was good. And the performance, I think Jason Bourne's a cool character, but I don't think he's like upper echelon amazing. So I give him a 4. I think he's really solid.
It's funny. Well, I gave him a 5. I had to give him a 5. Why? Because I kind of enjoy that mystery type character, like the John Wick type characters, right? We don't know his backstory. Do we really need to know? Man, there's sequels for that stuff, right? But I kind of enjoyed it for this type of movie because we're now with the character trying to figure out who the freak he is, right? He's like, holy crap, I could speak different languages. You know, I could kick ass, not knowing that he could kick ass. I love that scene in Paris, or is it Paris or Sweden or something? He's in the bench and the cop comes and all of a sudden he just whoops his ass and he's like, whoa, what the hell? And he just starts running off, takes off his jacket.
In Germany or something?
Yeah, I think it could have been Germany. Yeah. And I'm like, that is pretty cool. And then throughout the whole movie, you're going, like you said, you're going through this journey with Matt Damon as Jason Bourne. And I kind of liked it though, because it's a mystery that I want to continue solving with him in the second movie, in the third movie, to throw more dynamic to the character. And I think this movie, it's a perfect way to introduce this, like a character like this. Like you start off the movie with him getting shot and he's in the water. We really don't know what the hell happened. He was just in the water and this fisherman finds him and all of a sudden they start picking bullets out of him and then they find these bank codes. And I like it. I was like, you know what? Kind of mystery. And I kind of like that type of character. Now, Matt Damon as Jason Bourne, we're not ranking or giving Matt Damon like a rank.
The actor, but if they're good, yeah.
Yeah, but him as a character, I thought he was freaking believable. I was like, this dude is Jason Bourne. Like, there's certain characters me and you sat down and we're like, yo, this actor does not fit this role. It was just like they just threw him into it because of star power. No, Matt Damon is Jason Bourne. And with that, I felt the character and him fused into one. I believed the journey that he was going in, and I gave him 5. I kind of liked it.
Now, to your point, I don't disagree with what you're saying. It all makes sense. But that's also, I think some of your points are why I'd give him a 4. Because if I give him a 5 right out the gate, there's nowhere to go for that character. You know what I mean? So when they add layers, then maybe by the second, third, fourth movie, I'm like, okay, now this character has gone from a 4 to a 5 for me. But I don't disagree with anything you said.
Yeah,
he's good. He's cool.
All right, so let's go with the main villain here. Now, the main villain, I don't know how we're gonna score this because I did Treadstone, the entire government.
Yeah, so this is one of those like multi-villain movies.
Yeah.
You have Treadstone as an organization. Really, Chris Cooper is kind of the point man that's trying to bring Jason Bourne in, or he's trying to just kill him. And then you have like the assassins, like the hired assassin, like the other Treadstone people. Yeah. So there's like 6 villains in this movie, pretty much. Because of that, it's hard to. You're right. It's hard to score because there's no elite villain, right? Everyone gets like a little bit of time. Chris Cooper's in an office for most of the movie. You know what I mean? Yeah. He doesn't do anything. He talks and he tells other people to go kill him. As far as the assassins, they're pretty cool. Clive Owen is one of them. So this was before he was really anybody. So that was neat. He's like a sniper. It was cool to see him pop up. The best one is the guy who fights him first, the guy who pops in the window and he scares the crap out of everybody when he busts in the window. And then they fight. Like that fight was like the longest out of all the, like the assassin guys that they hired to go get him. He was cool, but they're all nameless. You know what I mean? Like, these are like nameless, faceless guys. So I gave the villain aspect of this because this is not that kind of movie. I gave it a 3. I can't give it a super high score, and on top of that, even by the end of the movie, you still don't really know much about Treadstone, right? Like you get Chris Cooper in the apartment telling him, you're a $30 million weapon and you're supposed to just do it and go away and whatever. That's about the extent that you know about Treadstone. There's some kind of black ops organization who creates super, spies and they do jobs. But there's nothing else to really latch onto. I can't give it a super high score because while it works within the story, I don't think it's like an amazing villain and it's too many different people. So it's a 3 for me.
Yeah, for me, I gave it a 4. I thought it was great because it was very menacing, right? He defeats one and then another comes and then another comes. And then you see it behind the scenes of him like lying to the other guy going, yeah, we caught him, and then he's like, when is he coming in? And the guy's like, 24 hours. And then he's like, it's already 24 hours. And then they are having an argument there. And then he's the one that switches, and kills the other guy. And now he's heading this new thing called Black Briar, which is going to go into the sequel. But I agree with you. In terms of as a villain aspect, there's not much villains. He does go up against a lot of people. and you get to see his trait and how experienced he is compared to the other guys. And I think that's how how the movie gonna go out, right? The hero's gonna start beating on everybody. But I liked it. I was like, this is actually pretty cool. And then each assassin had a different trait. You had, like you said, you had Clive Owen, which was the sniper / gun guy, and then you had the other guy that was martial arts and couldn't handle it. Yeah. So with that said, look, I gave it a 4 because I kind of liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. And then the villain knocked out his target that he couldn't kill, right? And then it was like a rotating thing. So I thought, to me, it worked. I gave it a 4, not a 5. I thought it was great. All right, action sequence.
Very good action in this movie. Very good. Sprinkled is more sprinkled than, and I think this is what I remember. Now that I'm watching it again, I remember why it's not my favorite one, because their action it's in short bursts besides the car chase scene. The car chase scene is pretty lengthy and it's cool, but I've seen better and there might be even better in this franchise. So, it's a cool little car chase scene. You get some shooting. You get that ridiculous part at the end where he shoots the dude and like uses his body to go down the stairs.
Oh,
and he shoots the guy in the head.
Yeah,
and he falls like 15 stories, but he doesn't die. He's like, he should have died. Out. Yeah. Even if he landed on another guy, the other guy was dead already. But so that was a little funny in a movie that was mostly, pretty realistic. There's no CGI in this movie. There's not like, it's stuntmen, which I love. It's a lot of stuntmen doing stunts. Like I said, I love the escape scene. Whereas it's kind of slow, but they show the whole thing from him climbing down the thing. I love stuff like that. I love well explained and choreographed scenes like that. I love the hand-to-hand fight, like I said, when the dude busts in the wall. That's the best one. The one with the cops is super short. The first one when it's at nighttime. You know what I mean? So it's little short bursts. It's not as much action, to me. It's not as much action as you would think for this kind of movie. Is it well executed? Yeah, Doug Liman is a good director. To me, it's fairly standard. I mean, honestly, I don't think this is like top shelf action scenes, but it's very good, very well done, very entertaining in the little bursts that it comes. I gave it a 4.
All right, so in terms of action, I agree with you. This is not my favorite movie with action for the Bournes. I'll just say that right now. And there's nothing taking away from this movie.
It's not bad.
No, it's not. The action sequences in this movie had well-established scenes because you got people who got to remember. Now, this guy's remembering the stuff that he's doing. So it's not like he's back to full Jason Bourne. This guy is still trying to figure out what the hell he's doing, and he's just doing it on the fly. Anything he touches, he starts to fight. The fight sequence in the beginning where he's fighting the guy, then he turns into Mama Gra, I think is the name of the fighting style, where he uses the pen. Krav Maga, yeah. And all of a sudden he uses the pen, he uses a book. I think in the second movie it was a book. But anyway, that type of fighting style is actually pretty cool. I was like, that's cool, where he could switch between fighting styles at whim. Beats the guy's ass, and I was like, I love it. I was like, that's pretty awesome.
That's the best one.
Yeah, he whoops his ass, and I was like, whoa. Now this car chase scene, I love car chase scenes. I always tell you, I was like, this is my joint, and this one had a really good one. And remember the Jason Bourne video game for PlayStation?
I do actually.
You remember
I played it on Xbox. I remember it.
I love
PS2
that game.
and Xbox. Yeah,
I love that game. The Jason Bourne game, and you get to do the same scene with the car, a variation of it. Anyway, car sequence. Oh, it was so good. Then you got the Clive Owen part where he just pretty much doesn't. They don't fight, but you could see how he outsmarts the shooter. And actually, it was pretty good. I was like, yes, I loved it. Other than that, it's not much. And then the sequence at the end when he finds the safe house and he does the little ass whipping there, and then that's pretty much it.
There's like 50 bullets at that part. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, not much action, but there was quality of good action. And the only nitpick I really had was the fighting scenes were way too close for me. Yeah. I'm just saying it felt a little. I think I got greedy with the John Wick wide angle scenes.
There was also a couple parts where it was very choreographed. Very choreographed. Like you could see Matt Damon like do this certain pose, and then the other guy, and maybe that's just because he was still learning. Like this was his first big action movie. It didn't always look smooth. There were a couple of you could see the choreography too much, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, there was
nitpicky, but we've watched also 150 action movies on this show.
That's the thing. Like we're gonna start looking like actual critics because we've seen so many fight scenes that it's like, wait a minute. There's a lot of scenes in that sequence where it's cut and paste. When you see him fighting and it's super fast and you see it cut quick, they gave him the Liam Neeson in the first movie, and I said, oh no. They did not.
I screwed up. Let's edit it out.
Yeah. Yeah. But look, other than that, look, I think anything action in this first movie was spectacular. The embassy scene when he whoops the guy's ass, takes the gun, throw it in the garbage can, and then he starts to figure everything out. I love that whole thing. I thought it was actually pretty cool. So anyway, with that said, I gave it a 4.5. I don't think it's a perfect 5, but I think a 4.5 is actually really good in terms of action for this type of movie. Now, it all could change in the sequels, but this one, 4.5. All right.
I know. I'm hoping my memory serves me right.
Yeah.
And I'm not crazy because, again, I've only seen these once.
Yeah.
But I remember things from other movies. This is the one I remember the least.
I'll tell you
I remember the Jeremy Renner one more because maybe it was more recent. I don't know. But
well, yeah. But I'll tell you this,
remember the
though.
least.
The next movie, we got Kurt Urban. He's in the movie. I don't know.
And I remember I know we're not getting to it yet, but I remember really liking Ultimatum a lot when I saw it. So, I mean, I was also like 21 when it came out. So I was like right at that age. I was like, oh, this is my joint. So we'll see how it goes.
Paul Greengrass. Yeah.
Paul Greengrass with the shaky cam.
Yeah, the shaky cam. Look, like I said here, in this, every time we like a movie, we come back, we're disappointed. So let's just wait till we get to those films.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So with that said, let's get to the storyline.
Very good. Very good storyline. It's very good. It really is. Like this is and this is a movie that, like, we just talked about the action scenes. The reason there's not a ton is because there's a lot of story. Now, that being said, it's still not a perfect for me. It's drawn out. It is not a 2-hour movie. It's a 2-hour movie, but it's not a 2-hour movie. You know what I mean? There's like a lot of, I won't say stalling, but there's like a lot of scenes where it's like, this could have been sped up. The energy, the pace is like up and down in this movie. Like it'll get going and it's going and going. And then all of a sudden it'll like come to a halt. And then it'll slow down, and then it'll speed up, and then it'll slow down, and it'll speed up. And it's not bad. It's good, and it's interesting. But that's a knock against it. As far as the positives, though, I love the storyline. I love the amnesiac, whatever angle.
Yeah.
He don't know. We don't know. He's got to figure it out. The love interest thing is okay. I think it's pretty well done. I like that. I like her. That's the girl. She was in that Run Lola Run movie. Yeah, she's a good actress.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like that. I like their chemistry. I thought it was good, even though it's a little fast. Like they just met in an alley, and then all of a sudden he gives her a haircut, and then they are in love. That was a little weird, but whatever. It was cute overall. Like I was into it the whole time. I like the Treadstone thing. I want to know more. I like these movies where they leave you, wanting to know more. The only problem is that when it ends and you don't find stuff out, it's a little like a letdown. It's like, okay, well, I guess I'll never know certain things. So for me, it's a 4. I think it's a very good storyline. Yeah, 4.
Yeah, it's funny. I give this movie a 4.5. I think the storyline is really good. And the thing is, well, between me and you, we already kind of established after 143 episodes, I'm more into the whole government conspiracy type films.
You're the spy guy. I'm not the spy guy.
Yeah. So we kind of figured that out after 143. But honestly, I think that's the reason why I kind of gravitate to this like every year, because I'm itching for it, is because I kind of love the storyline. I kind of love the whole, like you said, the amnesia. I love it. I think it's pretty cool. I love when you got bastards on the other side trying to catch this guy and he ain't doing nothing, and he's like, we got to get this guy and we got to do this. And they're trying to kill this guy. The dude doesn't even know his damn name. And they trying to kill him. Yeah, they still trying to get him. And I love stories like that where you got where the villains are so good and that they play well assholes on the screen that you're like, yo, I just want to punch this guy in the face. And that's good. You had 2 characters in here that you really wanted to punch in the face. And it was the main dude and then the guy who played William Stryker in the X-Men
Brian
movie.
Cox.
Yeah, that Cox guy, I wanted to cox him in the face. And I was like, you know what? I was like, you know what? And the thing is, he's so good. I don't know. The storyline is very well done. I think it's very well done. It's a very strong start for a action franchise like this, because it could have went other ways. Like we saw a lot of movies that could have just went the action route and gave you no storyline, but this one gave you a storyline mixed with a little bit of action, and it came as a great package for anyone out there that did not see this movie. I give this a 4.5, like I said, overall.
Overall for me, 4, 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10 in my brain. I like it. I think it's good. I agree with you. I think it's a good jumping off point for a franchise. The thing I do like about it is when the movie ends, it ends. Like they didn't know if it was going to be, they didn't have franchise in mind You can tell. It's like, hey, if it makes money, the studio is going to say, make another one. But if it was just a moderate, success, the movie has a beginning, a middle, and an end, And if they never made another one, okay, he said the Black, whatever that thing is called, Blackbriar, yeah. He mentions it, but it's not like a must know because I didn't even really still know about Treadstone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then he goes to meet the girl, like an island, wherever they are. And they shows up and she's like, you got an ID? And he's like, not really. And then the movie's over. You know what I mean? It's cute, has a nice ending. So I always like that when these movies don't bait you. Like the ending is not a to be continued type thing.
Yeah.
So solid ending. Great cast. Chris Cooper's a great actor. Brian Cox is a great actor. Matt Damon. Julia Stiles in a little part. Again, pre-famous Clive Owen in this. This series, from what I remember, has really good cast all the time. Every single movie has like a bunch of good actors in it.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Like I know later we get like Joan Allen comes in, and
Edward
there's like
Norton.
a bunch of like it's a well cast and well acted franchise, which is solid. So these movies are good. This one's really good. A good starting point. A 4 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to hold this back at all because we said everything throughout this whole review. I gave this movie a 4.5. I think this is a fantastic start to a action spy type genre movie. You get a perfect enough blend of action, a lot of character driven in this movie, a lot of great storyline, a lot of great, not cinematography, but a lot of great set pieces in different countries, from Germany to Paris to wherever other place they
globe trotting
thing.
Yeah.
And I think this is the first, I could be wrong, but this might be the first movie that I know of that went different countries in the movie. Like they actually went to location in like, Budapest. And then from Budapest, they flew to like, London.
I know they were in Paris,
Germany, Scotland.
Yeah.
Was it
They went a couple places.
Yeah.
The ocean. They were in the boat.
Yeah. On the ocean, Mediterranean Sea. I think it was the Mediterranean
they went everywhere.
Sea. Yeah. So I think that you get a well-established scenery in terms of this movie. You get great actors, like Nate said. You get everything in this movie. I think this movie is just a perfect way to start a franchise. Like I always say, this is a great way to go. And you have Matt Damon when he's super young. Like, what more can
he looks young. It's really weird to see.
Young.
Now, like, what the heck? He looks 25, maybe.
Yeah,
he looks super young. Yeah.
Yeah, well, with that said, look, I gave it a 4.5. Nate, total points.
Total point for me, 19 out of 25. A very good movie. And really, probably would have been over 20 if I liked the villains better. But while I liked them, I couldn't score it too high. Other than that, good action, great cast, really nice story. Still think I like other ones better, but we'll find out. A solid action movie. And you're right. I didn't even realize that. You definitely like these movies more than I do. And I like them. But like Shooter, this is like in that ballpark.
Yeah.
We haven't done, I know you watch the show, but like Jack Reacher, like I like Mission Impossible, but the Bond films, that's espionage, spy, government thing. That's right up your alley. So yeah, it's good. 19 out of 25.
Look, for me, I gave it a 22.5. I think this is a really good movie. Again, it's out on 4K. It looks amazing on 4K. If you don't have it, I mean, we don't do 4K reviews here in our podcast, but I'm telling you right now, go get it because it has a great sound, great picture. Other than that, Nate, what's coming up?
That early 2000s music with the sound. It's like that techno. Yeah. Oh my gosh. During the car chase scene, it's just amazing. Coming up, we are wrapping up our 70s decades movie with our last film as chosen by you guys, Shaft. First time watch for me and Alex. Most of these were first time watch for me and Alex. I think the only one we had seen was, did we see any? I mean, they were like almost all first time watches.
No, it was all first time watch.
Escape from Alcatraz was the first time watch. Warriors was the first time watch. This was the first time watch. So thank you guys for choosing these movies. And then of course, next week we will continue on with the Bourne Supremacy. That's the next one. Bourne Supremacy, switching directors, going from Doug Liman to Paul Greengrass. We'll see how that goes. And we'll let you know what we think.
All right, guys, there you have it. You want to follow us on our social media accounts? Please follow Nate over on Instagram at Netflix Reviews. Check out the podcast with him and his friends called Netflix Movie Reviews. Anything action movie, guys, head over to youtube.com/Ultra HD Geeks for the video version of the podcast. If you guys want to take us on the go, search for Action Movie Guys on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify. Just hit the search bar, search for Action Movie Guys, hit the subscribe button, auto download, listen to the podcast, leave some ratings, and we'll like to thank you guys for doing that. Other than that, I'm your host, Alex Figueroa, and that is
Nate from Netflix Reviews.
Be awesome to each other and geek out.